What's up, everyone? Zach here, bringing you another Team Taste deck profile. You want taste? Today, we're bringing you a Tapu Koko Drampa Garbodor profile, and it's this weird deck. It was my take on the whole Tapu Koko spread deck, and I still don't think I have the build down yet. There's still a few changes I want to make, but I played at a League Cup this past weekend in Ohio. Took top 16 out of 83 people. We'll go over that later, but we'll just jump right into the deck profile. Start off 4 Tapu Kokos, the 4 Koko promos. Right away, 4 is unnecessary. I was really bent on playing the 4th one, and I ended up keeping it in. But I think after this weekend, I would probably take it out, maybe for another Drampa or something. I don't know. I think that 4th spot could be better used somewhere else. And then we got 3 Tapu Leles. Pretty standard in these new 2018 decks. Yeah, pretty easy. Such a good attacker too with double colorless. 4 Trubbish. Acid Spray. When you play anything with Psychic or Rainbow Energies, it's just, I think, the better Trubbish to use. And then for our Garb line, we got 2 Trash Lanch Garbodors and 2 Garbotoxin Garbs. Trash Lanch isn't as prominent as it used to be. There's games where they're like, have 10 cards left in their deck, and I'm like, oh, can I see your discard pile? Go through it, and it's like, oh, you have 6 items in the discard, so there's 120. Like, it's not the dominant, like, oh, you have 12 in the discard, I can knock out anything. But it's still good to have that option, especially if they overextend or something, or if it's just a poorly built deck, or just a deck that's not playing the conventional items. Yeah. And then we got 2 Drampa. I was moving away from Drampa, and then I ended up playing Drampa for Worlds, and then Drampa's such a good card. Righteous Edge can just do the poke damage, get rid of the energies against guard. Early on, you can berserk all their Ralts and Curlia until they get their Gardevoirs out if they stumble at all. But even Righteous Edge can help against that. But really good attacker. It just kind of sucks when you fall behind on attachments. Getting the 2 attachments can sometimes be slow. But, yep, good card. And then we got 1 Espeon EX, Miraculous Shine. Helps out against Gardevoir with the Koko Spread or Metagross or any evolving decks, rare candy decks. I played against a guard where he rare candy kind of greedily, and then I Miraculous Shined, and it was like, well, that's game. And then 1 Necrozma GX. His GX attacks alone is worth the spot in this deck. If you can get a couple Koko Spreads and your opponent's not really minding their EX GX count on the field, and you can just Ninja Boy and Black Ray out of nowhere. Most people don't see it coming, but yeah, I really like the 2 Garbotoxin. Probably cut this. Not sure for what, but thought on the Pokemon line. And then for supporters, you got 4 Sycamore. Pretty standard stuff. And then 4 N. You really want to hit your draw supporters early, and without VS Seekers, you kind of just want to keep drawing into them. The 4N has been, I found you want to use N early usually now, instead of, usually I was really prone to play Sycamore, but now late game, if I go up like 4 prizes, all of a sudden I just start drawing into N's, and that's not helping me out at all. Okay, then we got 3 Guzmas. I'm still not, decks seem to be going between 2 and 3, and this deck I really don't care what's in the active usually, and you can't really stall anything anymore because everyone else is playing Guzmas. So I would think about maybe cutting 1, but I don't know, Guzma's just such a good card. And then the first interesting cards, Ninja Boys. Ninja Boy is so good in this deck, being able to Ninja Boy into Drampa and hitting a 180 out of nowhere, or Ninja Boying into the Espeon for unsuspecting players, or Necrozma. But it's really good, or I've even Ninja Boyed into Koko for the free retreat. And I can't really justify playing 1 without the VS Seeker, so I went up to 2. There's been so many games where I wanted the 3rd one, but... And then the last supporter, a Bridget. I would go up to 2 Bridgets in decks that like absolutely need and want the turn 1 Bridget, like the Gardevoir and Metagross. But in this deck, it's not really necessary. It's just kind of a luxury if you go first. So that's pretty nice. And then in the items, we got 4 Ultra Ball, still standard. We have 3 Choice Bands, 3 Float Stones, the 6 Tools, kind of standard. You can go up to the 4th Float Stone, but I don't know, 3 seem to be enough. And then we got 2 Field Blowers. I like being able to take the tools off the board. And then one of my last second card choices, which most people will judge me on this, but Energy Lotto. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck and pick an energy. It helped me get turn 1 flying flip so many times, but I'm still not sure if it's worth a spot. Like, I feel like multi-switch could be good with Drampa, being able to get turn 2 Berserk, or maybe I want to fit some Potowns to get the Drampa easier. But Energy Lotto, it was good almost all day. I think I only missed it once, and it was late game when I had no energy left in deck. But still undecided on it. It seemed pretty good when I was using it. I don't know. Make your own call on that one. And then we got 1 Rescue Stretcher, 1 Special Charge. We're playing 4 Rainbow, 4 Double Colorless, so it's pretty necessary. And 1 Enhanced Hammer, kind of just for a little stall disruption. I would think about going up to a second one too, but I took out all the disrupting supporters for a more consistent. But I don't think that's good. I think I might still want a Flare Grunt, but I don't know. We'll see. This deck plays really funky, but energy, we just got 4 Double Colorless, 4 Rainbow, and 2 Psychic. So just 10 energy. That's all you really need. You usually end up getting 2 Double Colorless back with Special Charge. But yeah, there's definitely some flaws in this deck when, like, if you go second and miss an energy attachment, sometimes that'll just cost you the game. Sometimes, or if your opponent's knocking out your Tapu Koko's turn 2, that can be a big bummer. And if you can't keep up on the attachments, you'll get, like, where the deck shines is like turn 1 you flying flip, and then turn 2 you get like an energy attachment to a Drampa, and then you flying flip, and then if they knock you out, you go, I don't care, I got my powered up Drampas that you can't deal with right now. Win condition against decks like Metagross and Gardevoirs, get like 4 Tapu Koko's flying flips. Acerola can kind of really bum that out sometimes, but still pretty good. And if you get Garbotoxin to stick while you start flying flip, it can just win you so many games. Yeah, like I said, I don't think you need that 4th Koko. Maybe it could go to something disruption, like a Flare Grunt or something. The Energy Lottos could become multi-switches or something more, like a 4th Float Stone or 4th Choice Band, but they didn't seem really necessary. I debated a bunch going back and forth between Fighting Fury Belts and Choice Bands, but the Choice Bands with Flying Flip and Drampa, it just made the numbers so much better to deal with. Okay, so tournament report. I ended up going 5-2 at the League Cup. Started out rough, lost to Gillispod Garb game 1 or round 1. It was a pretty slow game for both of us. He was struggling to get out his Gillispods. I was struggling to get out anything. He actually played one of Drampa to kind of help deal with the Volcania decks, and he ended up, we were just righteous hedging back and forth, and then he big wheeled and I big wheeled, and it was a mess, but he ended up pulling it off. He ended up making it to the finals, I believe. And then round 2, I lost to Turbo Dark, which it was pretty rough. I got a couple flying flips off. I'm like, okay, it looks to be going good. My Cosmo's prized, but I ended up getting a Drampa powered up and Guzmaing out a Choice Banded Darkrai. And he kept the energies with EXP shares. Both my Field Blowers are prized also. But I'm like, it's okay. He's still like 3 energy attachments short and a Choice Band. And he already had 2 on the field. And his turn comes around, he goes, yep, 180. Okay, so attach Choice Band, Elixir, hit it, attach energy, Dark Pulse for 180 knock or 190 knockout. And I'm like, Okay. And from that, I just couldn't keep energies sticking. Thought if I could have, I benched Drampa and attached an energy to it, and if it would have stuck there, then I probably would have been fine, and he Guzma'd it out, and it was just game from there. So start off 0-2. Um, wasn't feeling that great with the deck. And then round 3, I got my buddy and teammate Mark, and he was playing Gardevoir. And it always sucks playing teammates, but I start attaching energy, Tapu Koko, and or no, he starts with the Ralts, passes. I'm like, okay, attach energy to Koko, flying flip. He goes, puts evolves the Ralts into a Curly, attaches and smacks me. And I top decked the Ninja Boy into a Drampa and attached energy and donked him. So that was pretty unfortunate. He ended up even beating me in the game next that we played for fun. So kind of a bummer to win that way, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, Mark's always ending up playing teammates. He gets some bad luck that way, but yeah, he's usually winning. Round 4, played against Vikabulu. He really struggled to get anything going, and I don't remember the game much, but I think I got a couple flying flips and Drampa set up before he even got his Vikavolt out, and then I had Garb Stick, and then just things weren't going his way. Round 5, I beat Gardevoir. Yep, I believe that's what it was, and it was not looking good for me. And then, oh no, he couldn't get a Gardevoir out early. I got a Garbotoxin to stick, and then I flying flipped a bunch of Acerola, and then he started slapping me with a Gardevoir, and then finally I'm like, oh, here's my Espeon. And the turn before, he's like, I think I probably shouldn't do this, and he altered all the way a Curlia for a Lele to grab a Skyla to evolve up into a Gallade. And then the next turn I Espeon miraculous shined everything and put everything back into his hand, and he had no more ways of evolving up. So that kind of sucked for him. And then I think I got Garbotoxin online the next turn too, and the ends. I think he ended up decking out actually. So he was down to 1 prize. I think I was down to 2, and I ended up manually retreating the Garbodor. And he's like, yep, that's game. Flipped over like his last 2 cards in deck. So close one there. And then round 6 went up against Gillespie Garb again, and it was a pretty close or quick match. He turn 1 Lele couldn't find his Bridget. It was prized, and then he ended up ending or sycamoring and didn't hit anything on the bench. And then I kind of started getting set up, and then his next turn he played down a Wimpod. There we go. Pokemon names are hard. He puts down a Wimpod, and I Guzma out and kill it. And he's like, yeah, that's it. I had nothing else in my hand. So unfortunate for him. So I was at 4-2 after the 6th round. So we're trying to figure out if any 5-2s could sneak in, but we figured it was highly unlikely. But I ended up getting the pair up to a 4-1-1, and he was playing Gardevoir, and it was a player that was just getting back into the game recently. I played a couple cards like Ninja Boy, and he's like, oh, what's that do? And I'm like, oh, here's my Espeon. And so it was he was playing Gardevoir. I'm not sure if I said that. And I just kind of got my game plan off, got Drampa out early, and was knocking stuff out. And then after he knocked that out, I devolved him, just set him back, and he wasn't really drawing optimally, so it kind of just worked in my favor. And so I finished 5-2. Was pretty pumped after the poor start. I was preaching to everyone never to play Quad Coco. I think with a little retooling it can kind of work, but I think it's more of as a Drampa deck than anything. Garb is just not as powerful as it was. Garbotoxin's really good, but there's also times where I'd take the early 2, 3, 4 prizes and then get end myself and not draw anything because of my own Garbotoxin. There'd be times where they field blower in my Garb and I'm like, oh, thanks, and then play a Lele down. and like have game. But it's a really fun deck. It's neat. Albeit frustrating. Like if I was saying if there's a way to accelerate energy onto the Drampas or anything, like if we had to take out the rainbows for like psychic energy and max elixirs, but that I don't think that would get there. That would just be really difficult against stuff like other garbs. But yep, thanks for watching. Sorry for the lack of videos. Took a little break after Worlds before it, and just kind of chilling out, and it, jumped right back into the season with Fort Wayne, and disappointing performance there. But we'll be at Connecticut, so I think 5 of us. Look forward to seeing everyone there. League Cups like every weekend until then, so, and then every weekend after then. The grind begins. So I did get 20 points, so the road to 2018 World starts with nice sweet 20 points. But thanks for watching, everyone. Like, comment, share, it helps a lot. Almost daily videos, no promises, but Tuesday we should be recording a whole bunch of games. Thinking about doing some sort of live stream. Got my whole camera set up to the computer now so we can stream games. So lots of stuff, fun stuff planned. But later, guys.